So you may remember in a video I made a few months ago here, I gave you a tour of my room and I said I was going to be changing a few things around here. And as you can see, that has clearly happened. Some things are a little different and messy around here. So as part of the change to my new room, I've got some DIY tasks I've got to do, some of which I've already done. And today I've got one which will mean that I can get rid of this monstrosity, which is my TV sat on top of a Ikea stool, and also get rid of this, which is where I'm currently storing clothes. So the plan is I'm going to kill two birds with one stone. I want to build a unit which can store all the clothes that are currently in here under the TV, and the TV can obviously sit on the stand that I'm going to build, and I'm going to get a lovely bedside table, which is arriving later in the week, to go here. And yeah, clothes are going to go under there. In order to build that unit, I had an idea. I was going to get some Ikea drawers and I was going to buy some wood and stuff from B&Q. And then I remembered I've got all this wood and stuff in the attic which I could use. So I'm going to use some of the old slats from my old bed, which is what this is, and some of the legs from my old bed to build a stand, which these drawers are going in that I've got from Ikea. I've also got these brackets that I'm going to use to hold up the makeshift shelf. And I've also bought these screws and wall plugs to attach everything to the wall. So after that, the longest intro I think I've ever done to a video, let's get started. So here's the basic plan. I've got 6 of the slats from my old bed, and I've also got one of the drawers I bought from Ikea. I've also got another slat here. I measured this up earlier. Basically, this is roughly 49 centimeters across from there to there, and this thing is about 90 centimeters. So I'm going to cut this roughly in, well, I'm going to cut it in half so you don't have these horrible bits at the end. And then basically this bit is going to be attached to the underneath of this, and I'm going to put the other half on the other side to make this into one shelf, and that is going to go on the top, and this is a bit that the TV is going to sit on. Next plan is I've got some more of these. Basically I'm going to attach 4 of these to the wall there and another 4 to these legs, which I'm going to cut down, and they're going to be runners for the drawers to slide on, with the legs going along here. You're going to have 2 legs, one there and one there. The shelf is going to have a holder attached to the wall here, there, and then one on the wall there, and then one on the wall behind where this curtain currently is, and then the other 2 of these brackets that I've got are going to go on the top of the legs that I'm creating to hold this in place. So that's the plan. Okay, so I cut some bits of wood up, and I now have this bit and those 2 little bits there and a bit that goes along the end. I've measured everything up, or kind of measured it, not with actual centimeters or whatever, but this is kind of how the top bit is going to work. So that's the wall end. These bits are going to attach to the wall. Those 2 bits on that side are going to attach to the legs that I haven't built yet. Now we are going to have a slight problem because this basket, it's kind of hard to do with the holding the camera as well, but as you can see, this basket is not going to go all the way to the top of here because these things get in the way. I do have kind of a plan, but I think what I'm going to have to do is attach these, and then once this is in one piece, it will be easier to figure out how I'm going to actually have this top drawer in. So we'll just kind of have to see how that goes. Okay, so I've finished the top piece, attached all the brackets to the top, and it's really sturdy. You can see if I hold it up like this bit, look, and it's properly rigid. So I'm really happy with how that's turned out. Obviously it still needs some sanding down and stuff, but that can come later. But yeah, this is the top piece done. It's starting to get a bit late now, so I'm going to leave this for now, just have a bit of a tidy up, and then continue tomorrow. So this is what we completed yesterday. We've got those 2 bits that are going to attach to the wall there, and these are going to attach to that side of the wall. Now I did some thinking last night, and I realised that basically currently how we've got it set up, the runners for the top drawer are going to have to go at the bottom of these because these aren't wide enough for the drawer to fit in between. And I also realised I haven't got any way of getting the cables from the TV down to the plug that's down there. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to undo these 2 as first step for today. And I'm going to move them out probably by about 1.5 centimeters, so then we've got a gap to drop cables down, and then hopefully we'll actually be able to have the drawer up a little bit higher, and then I've just got to figure out how the hell I'm going to mount the runners. That's the next step. I'm time-lapsing it, so hopefully there'll be some time-lapsey stuff now. Okay, so I have moved these out, so now you can see I've got a slight gap, which the cables are going to drop down, and I'm starting to work out how I'm actually going to get the drawers to fit. So this is what the top one's going to look like. I think what I'm going to have to do is these are going to go inside like this, inside these brackets. I'm going to screw them on like that. Same on the other side. So the screw's going to go through this and then into the wall on that bit. So just so I can, as like a proof of concept, I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to attach these to there with some shorter screws, not ones that will go all the way through into the wall, just to hold them in place, and then we can see how the drawer's going to actually sit, and then from there we can actually start doing some measurements as to where the rest of the runners are going to go on there and how tall I need to cut these pieces of wood to be the legs that go on this side. Okay, so here is the proof of concept. It's a little wonky. It's not, obviously this isn't a final fitting, so I've not been too careful about lining things up properly, but this is kind of how this is going to work. So the screws aren't obviously going to be on this side, they're going to go through from this side, but this shows that it works. So from this I can now measure up on the wall where everything's going to go, so that's what I'm going to do next. Okay, so I've just measured some stuff up. That's roughly the height the TV's going to be, and the stand is going to be roughly there, which I think is okay. If I'm kind of sat like I am now, my eye level is kind of looking right at the TV, which is kind of how I like to laze. I thought it was going to be too high, but I think that's actually going to be good. So this is kind of what I've done. That's the height the first runner's going to be, and then this needs to be in line with that mark there, and that leaves us a 2 centimeter gap in between each drawer. So that's 64 centimeters above the ground, and that is 16 centimeters above the ground. So yeah, now I've just got to use a spirit level and get them all measured up, and then I think I'm going to attach the runners to the wall, and then probably attach this to the wall as well, and then I can figure out from there how to mark up these pieces of wood. Yeah, this is going to be the tricky bit, and yeah, I also need to take this off there before it falls off and breaks. So yeah, cool. Okay, so I've made some progress. I've marked a place where I'm going to drill on these 3 pieces of wood, and I've marked upon the wall where the first drawer is going to go, second, third, fourth. So basically what I've got to do now is take these, I've numbered these all from 1 to 3, so this one is 1. So this has got to go, well, basically put it in line with this. I'm going to use spirit level, which I've used to draw these lines, and then I've got to drill the holes basically. I'm drilling them with a relatively small drill bit, this one here. That's because I want there to be enough for these screws to bite in, and basically I'm just going to drill so it's into the wall, so that I've got the marks in the wall where the screws are going to go in. Then I'm going to drill a slightly bigger hole I can push these wall plugs into. Then we can actually attach these to the wall. Once we've done that, we can look at how we're going to attach that to the wall. I need to find something that I can prop that up with, because I'm not sure just attaching it to the wall, even though it will be attached with 4 brackets, I'm not sure whether they're necessarily going to hold it in place properly. So I probably do need to find some way of propping up this side, but we'll find out. We'll meet that bridge when we come to it. First step, drilling those holes. Okay, so I have got holes in the wall now where the brackets are going to go to hold the top piece up. I had to get my dad to help me out with that. So next step is I'm going to put the wall plugs in, and then I've got to figure out a way. It's going to be slightly tricky. I've got to figure out a way of how I'm going to mark up the holes on the 2 top runners for holding the top drawer in, because I've got to make them line up with both this and the bracket. I have put this stool and this box that are hopefully going to support that bracket there, and then I'm going to have to hold this in place while I attach these to the wall. Hopefully just attaching these to the wall with these top screws is going to hold it in place, and once I've got all those in, I can put all the screws in for this bit, and once I've done that, hopefully I can line up the other bits so that I can screw in these bottom holes. So that's the plan. Whether or not it will work, we shall soon find out. Okay, here's where things stand. What I've done is I had the top shelf, this bit, attached to the wall here. I put some lines on these brackets, as you see there, and that's where the top of the top runner, which is there, went on here. And then I measured from there to the hole, and then I did that same measurement on these, which you can see there. I then measured from that wall to each of the brackets, and then marked with a pencil where the hole needed to be. I've drilled the pilot holes there in these, and as you can see, I also then went with a masonry bit and widen these, and now I'll put the wall plugs in here. So it's now time for the final attachment of the shelf. Now I've put my TV on my bed now, and that's basically because this plug, as you can see, doesn't have any way of removing it other than if I cut the wire, and I can't unplug it from the back of the TV, so I'm going to have to drop this behind the shelf now and then attach the shelf to the wall, and then we can put the runners in. And once we've done all that, hopefully the top shelf will hold itself in place, and then we can get to marking up these legs ready for attaching them. Okay, so this is all now screwed to the wall. I did initially forget to drop that plug there down, but as you can see, the plug is now behind there, so my TV is now on my bed. So I do kind of need to make sure I get to at least a certain stage with this tonight, because otherwise TV's on the bed. But anyway, if I pull this out of place, see that leg is now not touching anything, and that is now 100% being held by the wall, which is great because that means it's actually got a fair amount of structural rigidity before I've even put the legs on, which is brilliant. I don't think it's got enough structural rigidity at the moment to put the TV on it. I think once I put this leg on, I think it will do, but obviously I need to put the other leg on to be able to actually start putting these struts on. So what I'm going to do next is actually measure up the legs so I can figure out where they all need to go. Okay, so I've marked up these two pieces of wood. I need 67.5 centimeters for each leg. So what I've done is I've marked up these middle sections here because these bits don't have any holes in them, so they look the nicest. So I'm going to cut these middle bits out, and they're going to form the two legs. Okay, I've cut these pieces out. One of them is over there, as you can see. The other one is here. I've sanded off the tops and the sides, and I've also sanded kind of around the bottoms of them. This one looks best on the top on all sides, so I'm going to use this one to go there, and that one's going there because it's got a slight rough edge on this side. So I figured best to have that closest to the wall. So yeah, I just need to screw them on, and then we've got legs. Okay, so I've got the legs attached, and I've put the drawers in, so they're on the runners on the left hand side, or the back, whatever you want to call it. And obviously I haven't got the runners in on this side yet, but I've just put the drawers in so I can see where they're going to be, and then I can figure out where the runners need to go. I've put the TV on top, so as you can see, it's holding the TV. That is entirely holding itself now, nothing propping it up, so I can sit and look out at it. I'm happy with that level. That's a pretty comfortable level. It's pretty cool actually. It's worked out pretty nicely. It's gonna have to be me for today because it's just got to 4 o'clock and I've got to go and meet some friends in town to go to the cinema. So I'll have to carry on with this either next weekend or maybe tomorrow. We'll see. Okay, so it's about a week later now. I've been working all week, so I haven't had a chance to work on this project at all. Basically what I want to do today is get the runners attached on there. Now, I don't have a huge amount of time to work today because it's already the evening now. Another thing to update you guys on, I've discovered that unfortunately this is on a slight slant. I don't know if you can tell, but I noticed it instantly when I went to sit down and watch my TV. Now, I'll just put the spirit level on here so you can see why I thought it was level, because it looks pretty much level there, but if I were to move it to there, you can see the bubble is now off to one side. If I put it on top of the TV now, you can see it's pretty much level, and that's because I've put, you can just about see it, a stylus, a touchscreen stylus under there, which is just the right height to balance out the TV. So I'm just going to leave it like that, I think. I probably should have seen it coming. You can see here, I'm fairly sure these are the same height, but there's a slight gap there. But oh well, it is what it is. So yeah, I'm going to start attaching the runners. Now, another problem that I've discovered is that these legs don't actually go down straight. They actually go down and slope in this direction. So you can see the gap here between the leg and this drawer is a lot smaller than the gap here. So what I'm proposing I'm going to do is I've done a bit of test fitting, and if I use a length of this wood behind the runner for these two drawers, the middle ones, the runner will be in the right place. And if I use one of these pieces of wood, this is an offcut from those legs there, for the bottom drawer the runners will all actually be in the same place. So I'm going to start working on that. Okay, so I have put a dot right there, and that should line up with the hole in this bracket just there if I start screwing from there. So my plan is I'm going to screw it in on that side and then eyeball it on this side and get it in the right place. And I've just realised as I'm saying that to you this isn't going to work, so I'm going to have to put a dot on this bit. Back in a second. Okay, I'm back. I've now put a dot on this side as well. So now it's time to screw the wood onto this bit and that bit over there. Yeah. Hooray! We have our first drawer. Look, isn't it glorious? It slides in and out. Oh my god, it's working. Oh yes.
Slides in and out.
Oh, this is pretty cool. Now, just need to do the rest of them. Okay, so I've cut that piece of wood I showed you earlier for the two middle drawers. I've cut that in half now, so one piece is there, the other piece is here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a screw here and here in the middle just to clamp these two pieces together, and then I'm going to screw this in place for this drawer here. Okay, so here we go. It's the next day again now, but I've actually finally finished building the drawer unit / TV stand. I did what I said I was going to do yesterday. I bolted these two together. I think I showed you that yesterday. And then today I've bolted these two together and mounted it. So as you can see, we now have 4 drawers that I can put my clothes in, and we have the TV on top with the Roku plugged into it. So this is all pretty awesome. I've also done a bit of cable management as well. So you can see under there the cable now go down there and along there, and it's kind of a little messy, but it's as tidy as I could make it. It goes down into the PDU power strip that I've got located down here. And as you can see behind the TV, made the cables nice and neat and tidy, so from this side can't see any cables. Very nice. Now I just need to tidy up all this mess that I've left on the floor and replace that unit there with the chest of drawers that I picked up from Ikea the other day. Well, there we go. The bedside table is now fully assembled, and I've got the TV cabinet / clothes storage unit done. That camera there, so that's just what I was using to do the time lapse that you've probably just seen. You can see I've got a canvas propped up behind the TV. That's just there temporarily as storage. That's actually my A380 canvas, which is going to go above the bed there. But basically that now means that I've got all the furniture in this room assembled. All the new furniture is here. I've got the cabinet, I've got that shelf which was there before, but that's pretty much the only thing that's still here from my old room. Other than that, that's going to be going, that's just there being stored at the moment. I've obviously got my new bed, I've got the bedside table, I've got this unit here, my PC's up there, I've got the new desk, chair again, that was from the old setup. But yeah, this room is very nearly complete now, which is pretty cool. I do need to find a unit to replace the filing cabinet that I showed you earlier. I'm looking at finding a drawer that will fit up there next to the PC and Steve over there. But other than that, I'm pretty much done in here. I just need to figure out where I'm going to put everything on the walls, posters wise, get some posters framed. But yeah, it's really coming along. So I know this has been a slightly different video to what I usually do on the channel, but I feel like I'm saying that a lot recently, so probably not too much of a problem. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and ding the bell thing down below. If you could do that, would be awesome. Then you get notified when I next upload a video. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Bye.